Well, this is it. After spending an entire month playing this event, this is where I finished off. Less than 20 chests away from Solden, and less than 50 pieces of him away from unlocking him. And that's not the most annoying part. We also had those pieces of soft, which we now get extra pieces in the dungeon shop as well, so there's like 25 pieces of soft in there. And I'm going to finish the event 19 pieces away from the soft dragon as well. So that's going to mean 0 ancients for this event. And just in case you are curious as to how many resets I actually missed out of this event, I missed about 8. 8 resets out of 112 resets in the entire month. And we get nothing. The only reason we were so lucky with Amphibian is because we got an extremely lucky drop, but that's obviously not for any of the ancients. We're not going to get Indigo unless we spend money, which, well, gems, and I'm not going to do that. So, no Luzra, no Solden. Our drop rate for Valkov is even worse at 123 pieces of Valkov. So, overall, this event has been even worse than the previous Water Ancient event. And I know that people have been doing calculations with this event compared to the previous one, and it turns out that this one, overall, allows you to earn 700 light stones more than the Water Ancient event. So this is where I'm at, 280,000 light stones total spent, so I'm not going to get to the gems, but the ratio that I've got for Solden also includes all of the bonus 10 pieces and things like that. The only thing that I actually got out of 30 days of playing this Light Ancient event was the Toucan Dragon that I had to spend money for to get anyway. So, you know, from this point onwards, if these events don't get any better, I'm not going to play DML anymore. Genuinely. Because, I mean, this month was kind of a different one to usual, because the reason why I missed those resets was because I've been quite sick. But it was genuinely the difference of an hour for some of those resets where it's like, I can force myself to wake up after I've had 2 hours of sleep after coming back from the hospital just to hit a DML reset. Or I can actually focus on my health and trying to get better. In which case, that genuinely does mean that like 28 days of solid grinding means nothing. And this is the issue with DML events. There are some people that have gotten Lisk free to play, and I am super happy for you, and some people that got really good drop rates, but I didn't see times 50 pieces for dragons. I didn't see big drops for dragons, and I never have during Ancient or Divine events. Not for the main reward dragons. I have never ever to this day gotten an actual dragon out of the Divine chests or the Ancient chests, and I don't think that that's going to change. Because even with the drop rates slightly boosted now to, what is it, 0.016% for Valkov, on average, if we use drop chance calculators, that's still 14,000 and I believe 200 chests on average that you'd have to open up to get the full piece. And obviously some people can get Valkov through lots of like other pieces that aren't just the max 500 piece, but the likelihood is it's incredibly unlikely. And the times where I do get those sorts of drops are always on the epics or the rares. It's not worth the money. It's not worth spending your money on RNG when you could be someone that genuinely misses less than 10% of the total resets for the event and you get nothing, and then Benjamin, who's a level 30 player that doesn't even know what an ancient is, happens to get Lisk just because the game gives it to him. And this is the inherent problem with this game. We already said that the Water Ancient event was unfair, and the way that we worked it out, you know, we did the calculations, we saw that even people that hit 100% of resets were They hit just over the 320,000 mark for light stones, or the water stones that they ended up spending. And then this event, it's gone down by about 10,000 because they did nerf parts of the event, they've nerfed other things. But my actual biggest issue with this event, surprisingly enough, isn't actually about that. It's about Soft Dragon and the way that the Soft Dragon pieces have been handled during this entire event. Because they've never told us at any stage through this event whether the drop rate for Soft was intentional, and then when they did tell us that there'd be pieces for Soft, air quotes, coming in the dungeon this week, and extra pieces in the whale mark, they didn't tell us how many. And they didn't tell us this from the start of the event, which means that those people that did spend money are actually the ones that were screwed over the most during this event. Which, you know, I do sometimes find it hard to defend the people that spend money on loot boxes and things like that, because it's not a smart decision most of the time. But I really do feel for the people that spent, you know, say halfway through the event or towards the end of the event before the announcements for extra Soft pieces were made, that they spent money on chests to get the Soft Dragon. And then in the final week, Gameloft was like, yeah, there's going to be bonus pieces for Soft, by the way. We're not going to tell you how many bonus pieces for Soft, but there will be. And that's been my biggest issue here. The fact that if you're going to say that there's bonus pieces, we should know how many pieces are going to be coming. Because those people that spend money on this game, the ones that are supposed to be the ones keeping this game alive, they've already spent money on these chests to get those pieces. And then you don't tell people how many are coming, and so lots of people start panicking, buying extra chests, and some people end up legitimately 2 pieces away from Soft. It's just everything about the way that this event and the previous Water Ancient event was handled, in terms of, you know, the 6-hour resets are bad enough in themselves because there's no reason why these resets couldn't be more kind to people, because, you know, 6-hour resets for 10 days is annoying enough. 28 days and expecting someone to never have random things crop up. Oh, you have a random meeting that goes on for an extra 2 hours today? Well, you've missed a reset. Oh, your bus was late. You've missed a reset. You know, it's one of those things where this game it's only really nice to people that don't actually ever go outside. Especially if you're a PC player, because, you know, people that play on mobile, you can log in on mobile, it's like, oh shoot, my bus is late, at least I can log in and do my reset. You can't do that on PC. As a PC player, there's literally nothing that you can do. You are stuck with the same 6-hour resets, but it's not like you can take your entire setup everywhere that you go. It's just... it's like, even if you put like 28 days of effort into the event, if you're not willing to literally like destroy your health, destroy your sleep, destroy your social life, destroy your working life and everything else, these events just do not work for people. And it's taken this many events and it's still not fixed, and now we're getting even more cancerous with requiring a legendary whose drop rates are coming in less than the ancients, and not telling people how many pieces are actually going to be in the dungeon. There's no way they couldn't tell people how many pieces were going to be coming in the dungeon this week. They easily could have told people, but they didn't. And this is just a major, major issue with this game, and I was told that things would start to get better, and I was told that this event would improve from the Water Ancient event, because they got a lot of flack for the Water Ancient event. And somehow, they have made this event worse. And that's not just me because I got nothing this time around, trust me. It's mainly the Soft Dragon and the change that they made to this to make Luzra infinitely more difficult to get than it was for the other Double Trouble Dragon last time. And just in general, even though we have reduced the amount of chests that it takes to get Solden from the 300 of Water Ancient down to 270, even if you miss the 8 resets out of 112 that the event has for the 28 days it lasted, I still end up with nothing. That's less than 10%. I believe it's less than 9% misses. So there's less than a 9% leeway, and that's including with me buying the Lightstone Shrine. I did miss a couple of bingos, but the bingos with Lightstones I made sure I hit. I did hit the ones with Solden, but the ones with tickets, which is also a reason why I'm slightly lacking on ones for soft, I did miss a couple of those because I could not be around for some of those resets. The others I forced myself to be around for them. So, again, it's not like my entire life was just like, I completely focused on it and didn't focus on DML. I do genuinely go out of my way to do things for DML. Wake up earlier. I've got 10 minutes after the reset in the morning to get the remainder of the points, otherwise I miss the second reset of the day. And it's still not enough. It's still not enough, even with a Lightstone Shrine, and I don't understand how people can sit there and defend this. This is ridiculous. And again, I'm not speaking for me, I'm speaking for the people that genuinely hit almost every single reset, but maybe they missed 5 of them, maybe missed 6, and they're still sitting there, like 5-10 pieces away from Solden. You know, it's just not... It's not how events should be. Everyone is feeling more and more frustrated. They were annoyed enough during the Water Ancient event, and this one has only made a lot of people angrier than they were before. I've been seeing the forums, people complaining once again about things on there. Facebook has not been kind to this event. You know, other social media has been, you know, just crapping all over this event. It's been a bad event. And people that sit there and say, well, I got Lisk, so the drop rates must be better. It's not even close to where it should be. Compared to any other popular video game, this game is predatory, this game is not good, and it requires you to change things in your entire life just to be able to get 1 or 2 Ancients max. So even if you do manage to get Solden, that you do also get Luzra, but then you have to spend gems on Indigo for the double troubles, you're still probably not going to end up with Valkov. So you get lucky with Valkov, but you also manage to get Solden. Doesn't mean that you're going to get the double troubles that you need for Luzra, and you're going to have to spend gems on that anyway. It's all about gems, 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 and I'm sick of it. And I was promised better things after the Water Ancient event, and that's obviously not happened. And again, if you want to see any of the calcs or anything else that we've been doing, there are those in our Discord server. People have also been doing them on the forums, and this event is not better than the previous event. In a lot of ways, this event is actually worse. And not communicating things properly about how soft was handled is not okay. Especially to those people that did spend money on trying to get pieces. I didn't, because I know what it's like. I expect this sort of thing, but I shouldn't expect this sort of lack of communication on pieces, lack of communication on how difficult the event actually is, because we were told, you know, it's gonna be better, you know, we're taking your feedback into account, we're gonna change things, we're gonna do good things. That's obviously not happened. The second that we saw that Luzra was going to require Soft Dragon, we knew that that wasn't going to be the case. And then when we saw the drop rates for Soft, a lot of people were just like, well, there's no point even playing this event. And I know a lot of long-time players that did not play this event. And that's just the reality of it. So, you know, for people that were wondering where I was at in this event, that's where I'm up to. And again, I did not hit every single reset. If I'd have hit every single reset, yes, I would have got Solden. But it's not feasible. It's not feasible with an actual real life. If you are someone that has literally not gone outside, or you don't play on PC, I can see how it may be doable, but you'd still have to change a lot of things in your schedule, and depending on where you are, the time zones might not favour you for the resets. Like, if the resets for me were at 8 o'clock instead of 6 or 7, I would never finish another DML event ever again, and I would immediately stop playing. That is how close these resets leave people to either being able to enjoy an event or having no chance of ever getting anything, ever. And it shouldn't be like that. So, yeah, genuinely, this may actually be my final major DML event. If they don't change it from this point onwards, I will never play a major DML event ever again. I'm done. I am absolutely done with this game. It's mainly the soft pieces this time that have really annoyed me, because they've screwed over the free-to-play players, they've screwed over the mini-paying players, and they've screwed over the whales this time. There is literally not a single type of player that they have not screwed over during this event, for one reason or another. Nobody won this time. Nobody. Even if you're a free-to-play player that got Lisk and all the others, that's just that's an insanely low percentage of the player base, like genuinely less than 0.5%. Every other person in this game that didn't manage to get super lucky on Valkov drops and the double troubles for Luzra and had lots of extra gems, they just screwed over. I mean, I didn't expect Lisk, of course I didn't, but, you know, at least one Ancient for 28 days of logging in, or let's say 26 days of logging in if I missed 2 days worth of resets. 26 days of logging in for an event, and I get none of the major rewards. And I'm not the only person like this. I'm speaking on behalf of all those people out there that have genuinely sat there and worked. Because this game is work, in a sense. They have worked on this game for 28 days and gotten nothing. Just because it turns out that the timers are so ridiculous that they don't work for most people. And then Gameloft wonders why their finances have been dog for years. I don't know. Genuinely, hold me to it. If they don't improve on the next major event, I am never playing another major DML event ever again. And I am not joking when I say that. I am done. And I'm not the only long-term player like this. And it shouldn't have ever gotten to this point. I've always been someone that's supported DML since release. You know, some people at Gameloft do lots of extra things and try and do lots to help other people and do other things that aren't just based on the gameplay, but this isn't okay. And this isn't acceptable, and people shouldn't accept this as being okay. Even if you happened to get really lucky, that doesn't mean that everyone else did. And there's a reason that games like this are dying, because people don't give in to these stupid predatory loot box tactics anymore, and loot boxes are getting outlawed in multiple countries now. In 10 years, games like this won't even exist, because they'll have been deemed so gambling heavy and predatory that they won't even exist. Don't defend this sort of crap. Anyway, I'm sure I've rambled on for long enough, but that's my overall thoughts of the light event, and I guess also the water ancient event, because that was terrible. But, you know, if you did get stuff out of this event, like the major rewards, honestly, I am genuinely really happy for you, and I'm glad that the RNG worked in your favour. It's just, we know from the drop rates and the stats and what players have been saying that most people didn't get a lot out of this. And that's not alright. But I suppose I'll be back with more ranting and raving and everything else in the near future. Do be aware that we've got a mini event coming this week with Gentle, and we are going to have the sigils and that coming in. That's going to be a whole other thing to either complain or be happy about. I hope at least that can keep me happy, because I am not in the mood to play DML at the moment. But anyway, I do appreciate you being here, and do let me know what you think. I know some people will still disagree, and still think that this sort of thing is okay, and still think that loot boxes are okay, but I will never ever agree that throwing dragons in loot boxes with such low drop rates is ever going to be okay. Not when these dragons are genuinely as strong as they are, and Valkov being a metal ancient, which a lot of people need. It's not okay.